Isang araw din ay makakamtan, sa isang magsisikap lahat magaganap. Ang ibang hinahangat, panahon kong katulad na sa isang takip silim ay araw na sisikat din. Aking lilipain ang iyong pagpapilin, ang bagong pag-asa ay muling tatanawin. Amot kamay lahat ito'y aking makakamtan, puspos ang pagsisikap, pagbubuo isang sa isang banda may munting piling, ibig nais niyang iparinig. Pagkakalman mo sa walang bahala, ang karunungan ay siyang mas mahalaga. Ang ibang hinahangat, panahon kong katulad na sa isang takip silim ay araw na sisikat din. Aking lilipain ang iyong pagpapilin, ang bagong pag-asa ay muling tatanawin. Amot kamay lahat ito'y aking makakamtan, puspos ang pagsisikap, patutupad ang pangarap. Wala nang makakahalang, kahit pulos may humarang, sipag at lakas ang ating hawak. Labis ng aking paglaban, patuloy na inaangat, pangalan ko ay siyang matutupad, matutupad.
Halina't makinig sa akin, tamang kabalaran ang kahihinatnan natin. Pabukal sa iyong isipan, tagumpay na tatahakin. Isang pangarap na lubos, landas na iyong pagtutunguhan. Pangangat na inaasam, di mapipigil ni numan. Maaabot lahat, lahat ng iyong inaasam. Kasipagan ng sagot, salat ka man sa kayamanan. Buksan ang pahina ng mga aklat ng karunungan. Edukasyon ating kailangan, kamamangan ating iwanan. Peace!
Aking lilipain ang iyong pagpapilin,
Ating tanawin,
bagong pag-asa ay muling tatanawin.
kinabukasan pagtibayin. Pilitin mo gawin,
Puspos ang pagsisikap,
pag-asa ay yakapin.
isang
Edukasyon ang kayamanan ng kahit ninuman. Isang pangarap matutupad, pagsisikapan ng lahat.
puspos ang pagsisikap,
Kaya mo yun, kaibigan.
mabubuo isang pangarap.
Technology can make things easier, but it can also make things possible. More than 1 billion people have a disability around the world. And while some disabilities are visibly apparent, others are not. Today, many report experiencing mental health conditions for the first time. The truth is, most of us will experience disability at some point in our lives, temporarily or permanently. Still, people with disabilities face higher unemployment rates, more than twice that of people without. And only 1 in 10 have access to the assistive devices they need to be active in their communities. The COVID-19 pandemic has only exacerbated this disability divide, with many experiencing symptoms that are lasting for weeks or months after diagnosis. Here at Microsoft, we've been on a journey to design technology with and by people with disabilities. We're learning every day, and people with disabilities are leading the way. Office features now make it easier for millions to create and send accessible, inclusive communications. More opportunities for improving digital skills and learning are available than ever before, and people with disabilities are preparing for an increasingly digital job market. As the world changes, our approach to accessibility is changing too. That's why we're upping our ambition over the next 5 years. Not only do we want to scale accessible and affordable technology, we're investing in skilling opportunities and talent development and doubling down on our promise to build and model inclusive workplaces. But we can't close the disability divide alone. As communities around the world prepare for post-pandemic life, we want others to join this global cause to make society more inclusive. Disability is a strength, and society is stronger when it's accessible to everyone. And while technology can make things possible, people make things amazing. To learn more, visit aka.ms/accessibility-commitment.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
manan mo piya kay naitan no manamakamoitan magbawa ayo yo yun parang sa tinakanak ni so Cristo o si kana sulod kuno kono kigduarua kagsari ito inoitang kainaitan no manamakamoitan
Biyaya mo na karunungan sa pamamagitan ng agham. Gamitin mo kaming kasangkapan para sa pagpunlan ng buong bayan. Hiling namin ang grasya mo upang kami mapagmahal. Dapat na tagapagpangalaga ng kalikasan. Maluwalhati ka, Panginoon. Dakila sa lahat, O Panginoon. Napakabuti mo, kailan may hindi ka nagbabago, Panginoon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Ya Allah, Kati ya Allah, papalad na miska ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim. Sa mga tawag niya wa ya Allah sikwaman ka ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim. Ya Allah bungi ngabi ya Allah sa mapya pamikiran ya Allah. Amo sarami ya Allah siku o kawapi siku kapuging ya Allah pakagiginawa ya kami kay ya Allah papamagupa kami kay ya Allah. So kalangulawan o Pilipino ya Allah sa nga Pilipinas ya Allah. Napakanudurugungan kaya sa mga mapya pamikiran ya Allah si kapugingid ya Allah na argang kar kami ya Allah Rahman ya Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
Maluwalhati ka, Panginoon. Dakila sa lahat, O Panginoon. Napakabuti mo, kailan man hindi ka nagbabago, Panginoon. Panginoon.
The true purpose of education is to create possibility.
It was a little hard for me. People laugh whenever I read sometimes.
Well, they knew how to read, and I didn't. I will never be good at reading. I will probably be held back again. highlights the words to know where I am.
When it's reading, I see spaces between the words, and it's easy to focus on.
The first time I actually could read that book, I was proud of myself.
I was very proud of myself. Good job, Joey.
When technology and education come together, possibility becomes reality.
I want to read every book in here.
Adam Braun, an American author and entrepreneur, once said, "We have every resource necessary to provide access to education for every child on the planet. We just need to commit to enabling it." Good morning to all our DepEd officials from central and field offices, instructional leaders, school heads, teachers, learners, parents, guardians, and learning facilitators, and other stakeholders. Welcome to our 5-day celebration of DepEd's Inclusion and Accessibility Week. This is an online information drive where we will learn different invaluable topics on ensuring inclusive and accessible education through the use of digital technology for our learners in special circumstances. This event's theme is promoting inclusion and accessibility to learners with disabilities through technology. Today is our first day, our kickoff for this virtual activity. I know that you are all excited to see what is in store for you in this event. This event is made possible by the incredible partnership between DepEd through the Bureau of Learning Delivery, Student Inclusion Division, and Microsoft Philippines, with the special participation of Virtualahan and Line Learning and Development Solutions. We would also like to acknowledge the wonderful support group, the Parents Advocates for Visually Impaired Children, or PAVIC. Joining us also this morning are our DepEd-trained Filipino Sign Language interpreters, namely Ms. Christine May Libot from Cagayan de Oro City National High School, Division of Cagayan de Oro City, Region 10, and Ms. Celestina A. Omanga from Legazpi City National High School, Division of Legazpi City, Region 5. All activities in the Department of Education are anchored on the Quality Policy Statement.
Quality Policy. The Department of Education is committed to provide learners with quality basic education that is accessible, inclusive, and liberating through proactive leadership, shared governance, evidence-based policies, standards, and programs, responsive and relevant curricula, highly competent and committed officials, and teaching and non-teaching personnel, an enabling learning environment. The department upholds the highest standards of conduct and performance to fulfill stakeholders' needs and expectations by adhering to constitutional mandates, statutory and regulatory requirements, and sustain client satisfaction through continuous improvement of the quality management system.
Once again, good morning to everyone. Sending warm greetings and shout out to all our live viewers who are tuning with us right now via our official social media platform, our official Facebook page, DepEd Philippines. For those who are joining us via Microsoft Teams, kindly go to our DepEd Philippines Facebook page to watch this event. We would also like to thank our partner, Microsoft Philippines, for enabling us to make this Inclusion and Accessibility Week celebration possible. Please use our official hashtag, hashtag DepEd Inclusion and Accessibility, when you post your photos relevant to this event on your social media account. So, stay tuned with us in this short activity. Sit back, relax, and enjoy all the sessions we've prepared for you this morning. To start off, let us draw our attention to the opening message and session on inclusive education in the K-12 Basic Education Program. To deliver this, let us all welcome our DepEd Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, Diosdado M. San Antonio. Let us give USEC San Antonio a virtual round of applause.
Today, I will present the overview of the inclusive education in the K-12 program, the intersection between children's right to education and the inclusion as the core principle of K-12. Hopefully, as educators and school leaders, we gain renewed appreciation and inspiration with the work that went through within the Department of Education family in its efforts to make inclusive education a reality through this celebration, DepEd's Inclusion and Accessibility Week. The rights-based approach to education, international legal and standard setting instruments. Specific to children with disabilities, the Convention on the Rights of the Child obligates state parties to take all necessary measures to ensure the full enjoyment by children with disabilities of all human rights and fundamental freedoms on an equal basis with other children. Article 7. It is emphasized that persons with disabilities have the same rights as other people to take their proper place in society, and their rights must never be perceived as welfare services by the government. The Magna Carta specifically provides for the right of persons with disabilities to the provision of adequate access to quality education and ample opportunities to develop their skills, and the corresponding duty of the state to ensure this right. It demands that special requirements of persons with disabilities be considered in the formulation of education policies and programs, including matters such as school facilities, learning resources, class schedules, physical education requirements, among other pertinent considerations. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child is the international treaty that sets out the rights in international law to which all children in the world are entitled. The convention was adopted by the United Nations in 1989, and the Philippines signed and ratified the convention in January 26, 1990. Children have the same human rights as adults. However, the convention recognizes that children are entitled to additional rights because of their unique vulnerabilities and attributes. It is the most ratified of all human rights treaties. There are actually 42 rights of the child, and they can be generally summarized into four. One, survival. Children have the right to life, good food, water, and to grow up healthy. Of course, we do this through Wash in School and other examples of initiatives. Right to development. The second, children have the right to an education and time to relax and play, as articulated in our Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan and our Academic Ease policy. Next, participation. Right to participation. Children have the right to say how they feel, be listened to, and taken seriously. And finally, right to protection. Children have the right to be treated well and not be hurt by anyone. And of course, we have a child protection policy in the Department of Education. Although the international human rights instruments that our country signs up to do not generally have the enforceability of laws that are enshrined in legislation, they do provide important guidance as to what our laws, policies, and programs should aspire to achieve. With a rights-based approach to education, the Department of Education, DepEd, strongly respects, protects, fulfills, and promotes the rights of children and persons with disabilities, particularly in relation to basic education. These rights are based on the highest law of the land, the 1987 Constitution, and a wide range of domestic and international laws, and it is the corresponding legal obligation of the government as duty bearer, including DepEd, to uphold these rights. The rights of children and persons with disabilities in the context of basic education pertain to not only the rights to accessible and quality basic education, but also their rights in the learning environment, including but not limited to the right to equality and non-discrimination, right to health, right to participation, or the right of a child capable of forming an opinion to have one's views heard and seriously considered in accordance with his or her age and maturity, right to religion, right to rest and play, and right to protection against all forms of violence, abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, and maltreatment as stated in DepEd Order Number 3, Series of 2021. As duty bearers, we in the Department of Education, with other stakeholders in education, have the legal obligation to uphold the learners' rights to education and their rights in education. Everything we do in DepEd should be informed by children's rights and human rights more broadly, and every program and policy we do should apply to all learners, with or without disabilities or difficulties. Let us now review and compare the mission, vision, goals of the organization where we belong. The K-12 Basic Education Program. The 1987 Constitution prescribes the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and to take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Article 14 and Section 1. Further, the Constitution directs the state to establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and society. This one is in Article 14, Section 2. Republic Act Number 10533, or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, provides that the state shall create a functional basic education system that will develop productive and responsible citizens equipped with the essential competencies, skills, and values for both lifelong learning and employment, and shall accordingly make education learner-oriented and responsive to the needs, cognitive and cultural capacity, the circumstances and diversity of learners, schools, and communities, thereby making inclusive education an imperative. Thus, the Act provides that the curriculum shall be learner-centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate. This is Section 5 of RA 10533. The Department of Education mission summarizes the duties of all duty bearers, all DepEd personnel and education stakeholders, particularly the parents and families who now play a bigger role in the education of their children in the new normal. The implementing rules and regulations of RA 10533 states that in furtherance of Section 3 of RA 10533, inclusiveness of enhanced basic education necessitates the implementation of programs designed to address the physical, intellectual, psychological, and cultural needs of learners, including but not limited to programs for learners with disabilities. Before the pandemic, reforms were undertaken to bring the country into the community of nations where basic education is a 12-year undertaking guaranteed by the state under RA 10533, so to make every graduate a basic education to be an empowered individual who has learned through a program that is rooted on sound education principles and geared towards excellence. The foundations of learning throughout life, the competence to engage in work and be productive, the ability to coexist in fruitful harmony with local and global communities, the capability to engage in autonomous, creative, and critical thinking, and the capacity and willingness to transform others and oneself. RA 10533, Section 4A, sets as one of the standards of curriculum development that the curriculum be learner centered, inclusive, and developmentally appropriate, indicating a mandate to serve to the learning needs of learners with disabilities through appropriate interventions that will maximize the development of their potential. Without the right support system, any curricular programs and policies will not materialize. We need teachers, learning resources, ICT infrastructure, appropriate assessments, competent school leadership and management, the technical assistance from the SDOs, and the external stakeholders' support. In everything we do, we know that our efforts would lead to equipping our learners with the tools needed to pursue their options in life, be it higher education, middle level skills development, entrepreneurship, or employment. While the road to successfully implementing new learning goals or curriculum is a long one, failure is often just one small step away. This may be because the policies and programs on which educational goals and curricula are established are just the small visible tip of the iceberg. The reason why it may be so hard to fully advance implementation is that there is a much larger invisible part under the waterline. This invisible part is composed of the interests, beliefs, motivations, and fears of those involved in education, teachers and communities included. This is where unexpected collisions and resistance to change occur, because this part of educational reform is rarely captured on the radar screen of public policy. There may be still a need to help stakeholders recognize what needs to change and to further build a shared understanding and collective ownership for change. The DepEd family must focus resources, build capacity, and create the right policy climate with accountability measures designed to encourage innovation and development rather than compliance. Inclusion is the core principle of K to 12. As I mentioned earlier, everything we do in DepEd is informed by children's rights and human rights more broadly, and it serves as the foundation why we have inclusive education. Inclusive education refers to a process of addressing and responding to the diversity of needs of all learners by moving towards the end goal of full participation, presence, and achievement in learning, cultures, and communities, and eliminating exclusion within and from the education. It involves accommodation, modification, adaptation, and individualization in content, approaches, structures, and strategies with a common vision that covers all learners of the appropriate age range, and a conviction that it is the state's responsibility to educate all children. It also focuses on achieving quality education that fosters diversity and flexibility towards full participation of all learners with disability. Inclusive education is not a new direction in the Philippines. Look at the brief history of inclusion in the Philippines. It has been recognized in our system since 1907, long before we signed any international legal and standard setting instruments. Inclusion may not have been fully realized because of people's mindset and resistance to change. Remember the iceberg? It really takes so much time to translate good ideas into better outcomes. To make inclusive education work, it must recognize and respect learners' rights. No learner shall be left behind. The focus is on the delivery of quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete education. It must be recognizing and valuing diversity of learners, schools, and communities. Now, let's take a look at what the international research says. There is clear and consistent evidence that inclusive educational settings provide substantial short and long-term benefits for learners with and without disabilities. He here et al. Of 2016 reporting on a systematic review of 280 studies from 25 countries. Chomsky, Smogorska, and Karwoski of 2017 reporting on a meta-analysis. These are the results. Learners have stronger skills in reading, math, higher rates of attendance, less likely to have behavior problems, more likely to complete secondary school than students who have not been included. As adults, learners with disabilities who have been included are more likely to be enrolled in post-secondary education and to be employed and living independently. Pedagogies such as universal design of learning provide an effective framework as reported by Helfin and Isbell in 2012. Who are learners with disabilities? They are those who have long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairments, which in interaction with various barriers may hinder their full and effective participation in society on equal basis with others. Learners with disabilities include children, youth, and persons who should be in the early and basic education system but are not yet enrolled within the system. Their ages may vary from 5 to 24 years old in order to be considered in basic education. Let me emphasize again that learners with disabilities are part of society and have the same rights as other people to take their proper place in society. Their rights shall not be perceived as welfare services of the state. Accordingly, the state shall include their diverse needs as an integral part of national development strategies, guarantee their social protection, and facilitate their active participation and inclusion in public, civic, and state affairs. A new policy has been issued in October, DepEd Order 44 Series of 2021, to provide an overall direction, management, and implementation of appropriate programs, services, and interventions for learners with disability. I would like to invite your attention on the educational placement to give you an idea about the appropriate learning environment for learners with disabilities after we evaluate their assessment results. Educational placement refers to an appropriate learning environment where the learner with disability is placed, such as mainstream and inclusive class, resource room, self-contained class, home, or hospital. This will be based on assessment results. Another important feature is the individualized education plan. This is a systematic, purposive, and developmental educational programming document of curricular and instructional priorities and contents designed to meet the learner's special needs and aim at ensuring mastery of learning for target skills and behaviors. This document will serve as one of the references and basis to show the learner's progress in a specific component or part of the curriculum or program, and when necessary, will take the place of the regular report card or School Form 9, which is being used in all regular schools. Every learner with disability shall have an individualized education plan that articulates his or her learning goals based on the K-12 basic education curriculum. Teachers are the most important implementers of inclusive education. As such, we are expected to possess the proper values, perspectives, attitudes, as well as competencies that communicate and reflect inclusion as they address the educational needs of diverse learners. We should always reflect on the meaning of Domain 3 of the PPST. We are expected to embrace diversity with differentiated pedagogical practices. Schools are the primary implementers of the special education program and other interventions for learners with disabilities. School leaders shall ensure that the learning environment fosters a healthy, happy, and engaging learning environment that is inclusive and rights upholding. In conclusion, please let me emphasize that the inclusive education is not segregation, where students must only learn in separate environments that are designed to respond to the particular needs. It is not integration, where students are placed in schools with their similar age peers, but the physical environment, school culture, and pedagogy remain unchanged. It is not exclusion, where learners are directly or indirectly prevented from or denied access to any education in any form. Inclusive education is when all students, regardless of their ability, are placed in grade level, age appropriate general education classes and schools in their own neighborhood to receive high quality instruction, appropriate accommodation and services, interventions in social emotional supports that enable them to learn successfully to improve their lives. Education is a human right. Now, let's expand our perspective. I have here the data of learners with disabilities in the national level. Of the total 61,923 schools in basic education managed by DepEd, only 6% are serving mainstream, 0.9% for self-contained learners, 3.8% and 3.8% and 8.8% for non-graded. If children are not identified and given labels, they are likely to be ignored. In the real world, learners judged to have no disabilities or deficits will have no special programs, but will only have access to programs developed for all students. Our hope is to make the real world a better place for learners with disabilities. The application of evidence-based special education strategies will help to ensure that all learners with special educational needs and disabilities get an education that optimizes their educational outcomes and provides them with the greatest chance of being fully included in their communities after leaving school. Technology has considerable potential to support increased educational opportunities and inclusive learning, but it needs to be used with appropriate pedagogies. However, the lack of schools and other educational infrastructure and poverty raise particular challenges to the introduction of technology-mediated learning resources. However, the barriers worldwide are similar and include lack of funding and other resources, lack of available technologies and specialists, and lack of teacher education. ICT is a tool rather than an end in itself or a universal solution. Its successful use requires appropriate pedagogical strategies which take account of the needs of a diverse student body, appropriate teacher education, and career-long learning. The technologies need to be fully accessible to disabled and other students and take account of gender and the social and cultural issues, values, and sensitivities of the diverse populations that might use it. Finally, we should always remember that indeed, inclusive education is a result of a process of continuing and proactive commitment to eliminate learners impeding the right to education, together with changes to culture, policy, and practice of regular schools to accommodate and effectively include all learners. Once again, we are the Office of the Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction, and we always tell ourselves children are most important. Thank you very much. Mabuhay and God bless.
That's indeed a very informative and comprehensive session from our very own USEC San Antonio. We've learned so much inputs on inclusive education, and we are now reminded that in education, children are the most important. Thank you so much, USEC San Antonio. This time, let us lend our ears to the message to be delivered to us by Ms. Joanna Rodriguez, Public Sector Director of Microsoft Philippines. Let me introduce her to you. As Microsoft's current Public Sector Director, she is bringing the vision of serving the Filipino people through technological empowerment to the forefront of the national agenda by delivering innovative and transformational IT projects that improve government administration and enhance citizen service delivery. Prior to joining Microsoft, she worked in the government for 10 years, allowing her to fully understand the needs and challenges facing the nation and broaden her perspective on how technology can disrupt the public sector segment. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give Ms. Rodriguez a virtual round of applause.
Good morning to all of our viewers, especially to our learners, parents, and teachers. Thank you, USEC Dad San Antonio, Undersecretary of Curriculum and Instruction, Director Laila Ariola of the Bureau of Learning Delivery, and Dr. Jose Tuginayo of Student Inclusion Division for yet another opportunity for Microsoft to support the Department of Education in promoting inclusive and accessible learning environments for every Filipino learner. The mission of Microsoft is something that we carry with us when we work with our customers, when we deal with our partners, and when we decide how we will make an impact here and around the globe. And in the area of diversity and inclusion, also a very ingrained practice in Microsoft. This means for us providing our Filipino learners with access to equitable education solutions and a trusted platform to help them reach their academic and social potential inside and outside the classroom. And for our teachers, it means equipping them with access to solutions that can help accelerate the teaching process, support social and emotional well-being of our students, and the development of literacy skills in all of our learners to prepare them for the demands of tomorrow's workplace. The interruption of face-to-face learning brought about by the pandemic affected millions of our learners and particularly challenged the special education sector. But we in Microsoft remain very hopeful as we have seen in the face of unprecedented circumstances, many purposeful, life-saving, and lasting innovation that our Philippine government agencies have applied with the use of technology in the last 2 years. And we have together, in fact, advanced the mission of building a safer, stronger, more resilient nation through ICT innovation. And now we are once again activating a new partnership to enable innovation where it matters. It is our responsibility to ensure inclusive access to education for all, leveraging technology solutions and empowering our teachers and learners with the necessary skills that they need to thrive in a digital era. Every learner needs access to adequate resources to support the full engagement in learning. With the right tools and training programs, our teachers and parents will also be given the opportunity to learn how technology can improve learning outcomes and create positive impact in the special education sector. More so now, where so much support is needed around the various modalities of teaching and learning: print, online, offline, and hybrid. And there are countless of ways to use technology to make learning inclusive and accessible. And let me share with you how Microsoft, in partnership with DepEd, can make it easier for education to be inclusive using AI technologies and new features that are embedded in our software, which were, by the way, designed in collaboration with people with disabilities. Microsoft's assistive technologies and accessibility features that are built into Office 365 are available to everyone who needs tools to support challenges in vision, hearing, neurodiversity, learning, mobility, and even mental health. And here are some examples. Immersive Reader in PowerPoint assists with comprehension and attention when viewing slides and notes. Dark mode in Word helps reduce eye strain and accommodate light sensitivity by extending the black office theme on the document canvas. PowerPoint Live in Microsoft Teams enables attendees to access shared content using screen readers and very soon to shift their personal view with high contrast mode. Accessibility Checker, for example, suggests edits that can help content creators create content that is accessible to everyone. Dictate in Microsoft 365 lets us use our voices to quickly create documents, emails, presentations, and other content. Designer helps create polished documents in Word for the web and will soon identify places where using styles could actually improve accessibility. And finally, Reading Progress, an AI-powered free tool built into Microsoft Teams designed to support educators in creating personalized reading experiences that build confidence and reading fluency in their students. Together, we all have an opportunity and a responsibility to shape the world to be more sustainable, more equitable, and more inclusive than the world that came before us. Digital acceleration will be the fuel that helps us get there. But we must look forward with optimism, hope, and a renewed sense of purpose. For Microsoft, our purpose is very clear. In every industry, in every country, we are committed to empowering every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And this mission is deeply inclusive and helps meet the needs of today's diverse learners to help them acquire relevant skills that have never been more important as they are today. We are grateful for the continued partnership with the Department of Education in providing equitable and accessible education, and more importantly, in helping bridge the disability divide in the country. We hope that this week-long celebration will inspire partnerships, create relevant programs, and lead to action in providing a better teaching and learning environment for all of our students with special needs. Once again, maraming salamat po for the partnership and for the trust, and magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ms. Rodriguez, for your message. We also thank you for being with DepEd in ensuring inclusive and accessible education for all learners in special circumstances. Now, we have arrived at the point. Thank you so much, Ms. Rodriguez, for your message. Now we have arrived at the core of our session today. At this point, we will listen to a topic on making inclusive education possible for learners with disability using the equalizing power of technology. This session is an interactive discussion presenting a case study of how inclusive learning can open possibilities to persons with disabilities. It will explore real-life examples of the realities of learners with disability, the barriers that they experience, and solutions that have been proven to work. Now, let us get to know our resource person for this session. Our resource person is a social entrepreneur, educator, and diversity and inclusion champion. He is the founder and CEO of Virtualahan, an online vocational school providing inclusive training to people with disabilities, recovering addicts, and others who struggle to find employment while simultaneously empowering companies to become inclusive employers. He is also an Ashoka Fellow, an honoree for Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia for Social Impact, and a 2022 TED Fellow. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Mr. Ryan Hersaba, founder and CEO of Virtualahan, together with Ms. Doreen Elsie Jane Hersaba and Steve and Ian. Let us give them a virtual round of applause.
Good morning, maayong buntag, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Happy Inclusion and Accessibility Week sa lahat ng bumubuo sa Department of Education, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga guro, sa ating mga parents, sa ating mga mag-aral. Ako po si Ryan, ang aking sign name ay Ryan. At para po sa ating mga manunood na may visual disability, ako po ay isang morenong Pilipino in my late 20s. At ako po ay nakasuot ng isang blue na polo barong. Maraming salamat po sa Department of Education and sa Microsoft Philippines sa pag-invite sa amin para po makipag-celebrate sa inyo sa ating Inclusion and Accessibility Week. Disability is part of our human experience. Just like our gender, our race, our ethnicity, it is part of our human diversity. And it is something that we should understand and also we should embrace. Alam niyo po ba, worldwide, merong mahigit 1 bilyong persons with disability. That is 1 in 6 people. 470 million of this are of working age, and in developing countries katulad ng Pilipinas, 80 to 90% are unemployed. At isa po sa mga root cause ng unemployment ng persons with disability is yung inaccessible education and training programs. Now, alam nyo po dito sa Pilipinas na for you to get a job, kailangan nyo po ng 4-year college degree, which mahirap po kunin para sa ating mga persons with disability, especially yung mga nasa rural areas. Imagine this, a person with autism, a person who is blind, a person who is deaf, a person who is a wheelchair user in the same classroom. In a traditional setting, medyo imposible pong gawin ito, that they can have the same learning experience together. Now imagine this. Put technology in between. When we use the equalizing power of technology, we can create the same learning experience regardless of the type of disability na meron po ang isang learner. If we can use closed captions, we can use sign language interpreters, pwede po natin gawin yung mga materials natin na accessible, na nakapasa sa ating web accessibility guidelines, especially sa ating mga learners with developmental and intellectual disability. Meron tayong mga easy-to-read version with easier instruction. Accessibility and technology creates possibilities for learners with disability. And the result is that it creates new opportunities. It creates job, it creates better transportation system. It challenges us to transform our education system to make it truly inclusive so that no learners is being left behind. The Magna Carta for Persons with Disability, Republic Act 7277, Section 12 to 17, Chapter 2, tells us that the state should provide quality and accessible education to everyone, but especially to learners with disability. At alam ko po, marami sa atin ang excited because recently, napasa na din po ang Republic Act 11650, an act that institutes policies for inclusion and services for learners with disabilities to promote inclusive education. Nung nagsimula po yung pandemic, marami sa atin ang nahirapan mag-adjust sa ating new normal. And most especially ang ating mga learners with disability. I started Virtualahan, isa po kaming social enterprise, isa po kaming virtual eskwelahan na nagbibigay ng skills training para sa mga adults with disability na makapagtrabaho. Pero nung nagsimula ang pandemic, sa tulong ng ating mga partners galing sa DFAT Australia, PhilDev Foundation, Kite Foundation, and Talamban Christian School, ay nag-launch po tayo ng bagong programa. Ang Sped at Home program ay isang pioneering initiative na ginawa natin upang maging accessible and inclusive ang ating basic education for learners with disability using the equalizing power of technology. We want to normalize special education in the new normal, na hindi na kailangan pumunta sa SPED Center, but we bring learning straight directly to their home. And today po, we are grateful because we have the opportunity to actually meet one of our teachers and 2 of our students sa ating Spread at Home program to give us, to share to us yung experience nila on how inclusive and accessible education actually works at ang role ng technology that made it all possible. To give us more context at laliman yung ating understanding about SPED at Home, let us welcome teacher Doreen. Isa po siyang guro na mag-share sa atin ng kanyang experience sa ating SPED at Home program.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, thank you. By the way, I am Doreen Elsie Jane, and I am the project lead of our Spread at Home program po ng Virtualahan. Now, yung Spread at Home, it was conceptualized somewhere in 2019, but it came into fruition in 2020, no? So parang very timely talaga. It was thought of prior pa the pandemic, but the implementation, it was really timely na it was during the pandemic. Now, if yung goal kasi ng virtualahan, no, is there should be inclusivity, no, and accessibility in the workplace. And actually, it's not in the workplace na yung mga people with disability or people with special needs and specific needs, sila lang yung lesser opportunities in the workplace. There are also people who have lesser opportunities in the education side. So with that goal in mind, na everything, education should be inclusive and accessible. So we created a Spread at Home. We actually started on giving scholarships to students na may specific needs, yung especially under the students under KAI, no? Under the foundation. So we started with students who have chronic illnesses, but we started with this. Hopefully, we will expand later on to different specific needs. So with Virtualahan, we provide, of course, the accessibility, the well-being, and the sponsorships of our scholars. And technically, yung mga students na they did not have, kasi may category kami on getting our scholars. So yung mga hindi talaga no opportunities to get into school, no, because of their condition. So we started in the school year 2020 until 2021. That was our pilot year, and then it is followed now by our with our second school year or academic year 2021 and 2022. And I'm also happy to tell you that one of our students coming from the SPED at Home program is able to jump into our training in Virtualahan, where they can learn specific digital skills and equip them. No? Kasi most, we have students also na above na their year level, you know. Since hindi nga sila nakapag-enroll into the regular school, we upgraded them through specific skills. Now, KAI Foundation gave us the students, and at the same time, TCS provides the modular and virtual education for our students. So, ang ganda ng curriculum because we have modules at the same time. We have virtual classes at the same time that will actually aid the modules that we provide our students. So it's not just ibibigay lang yung module, but we have regular live classes to update their activities that they do every single day. So being part of Virtualahan and being part of the project, we really make sure that our students do their part along with the teachers, because we really monitor, because our students have specific needs that need to be addressed, and we make sure that the requirements would not make them we would not tax them kasi nga medyo online, alam naman natin the difficulty of online learning, but we make sure that we have the intervention that they need so that they can learn amply according to their capacity.
Right. So it really takes a village, Teacher Elsie, no? It really takes a village to raise a child. It needs to have multi-party partnership for this initiative to actually work.
Exactly. Kaya nga yung guardians din, we really meet them so that we would tell them on how they could do the modules, how the students are doing. Kasi nga may mga specific needs that they go to the hospital every now and then. So we communicate with the teachers, we communicate with the guardians, and then with the school itself then para aligned, no? Kasi nga, we are very specific because of the specific needs of our students. Yun. And
Yes.
actually, I'm very happy. Now we have two of our students will be joining us, Ryan, no? So I'm excited that they will be introduced and they could share their experience with our program at Sped at Home.
Sige, let us welcome Ian and Ziv, two of our students sa ating Sped at Home program, to share their experience as well, and their stories being learners with disabilities themselves. Ziv, Ian?
Hi, Steve. Hi, Ian. Welcome.
Hello. Sige, pakilala muna tayo, Ziv and Ian, no? Please introduce yourself. Magsimula tayo kay Ian.
So ako po si Ian, 17 years old, ay isang mag-aaral na may health condition na ALL or acute lymphocytic leukemia. Ziv?
Hello, ako po si Steve. I'm 23 years old at pinanganak po ako na may blue rubber blood nevus syndrome. Sa vein po yun. At yun.
Salamat, Ian and Ziv. So, bilang mag-aral na may kapansanan, ano yung mga realities na na-experience ninyo on a daily basis?
So ako po, sa ganong pong condition po namin, na ako po ay may ALL, so kami po ay laging nasa ospital. Okay? Kasi po kami po ay lagi ay nahihilo or nagsusuka, pero kahit ganun pa po ang aming kondisyon, kami po ay lumalaban at patuloy na lalaban po.
Can you tell us more about ALL, Ian?
Ang ALL po ay acute lymphocytic leukemia. Ito po ay bumababa yung platelet or yung dugo din po. So, pag ganun po, hindi po na-maintain yung sakit na po yun, bababa po yung immune system nyo. Yun po.
So, ALL, tama ba isang uri ng cancer?
Yes po, isa pong uri ng cancer na naglalaban po yung platelet po.
Okay. So bilang isang person with disability, bakit mahirap magkaroon ng access sa education?
Mahirap po para sa akin magkaroon po ng access sa education pag sa labas po kami nakapag-aral, dahil kami po ay magta-transportation and babiyahe pa po ng malayo, and yung pagod din po.
What about you, Ziv?
Yun sa akin naman po, hindi po ako pwedeng mag-commute mag-isa kasi may time po na sumasakit po yung tuhod or paa ko na nagko-cause na hindi po ako nakakapaglakad. At nahihirapan po kung magpunta sa school, yung ganun po.
Sige, bakit naman kayo nahikayat na go ahead, Teacher Elsie.
Actually, Ryan, Ziv actually has, nagtry sila nag-enroll before, pero yun nga, yung condition niya, nahihirapan sila mag-commute and all. Actually, wala siyang LRN when she started. Oo, because of the situation. Opportunity niya talaga para nakakapagtapos siya ng whole year dun sa Sped at Home program.
Okay, so speaking of that, bakit kayo nag-join sa Sped at Home program at kumusta yung experience niyo so far?
So ako po, kaya rin po ako nag-join sa ganitong program, and gusto ko din po matuto kahit nasa bahay lang po. And yung karanasan ko po bilang isang mag-aaral na first time na makapasok sa ganitong program is first time ko rin pong naranasan magbuwan ng wika and mag-physical activity kahit nasa bahay lang po. So, yun po yung mga ano po namin, yung mga national flag, mga ganun po. Yun po. So, first time ko
Actually,
po yung naranasan.
Ian is a top student actually, and that's why he was actually accelerated.
Oh,
Then, so
right.
she
So meaning Ian, oo, like first time mong makapag-aral, first time mong pumasok sa isang paaralan through
Yes.
SPED at Home program. Oo.
Yes.
At accelerated ka pa. So anong
Yes.
grade ka na ngayon, Ian?
So, ako po ngayon ay nasa grade 5 at magtatapos na po ng grade 5.
What about you, Ziv?
Um, Sumali po ako sa SPED at home kasi po, gusto ko pong matuto gaya po ng sabi ni Ian. Tapos gusto ko pong ma-experience na magkaroon ng kaklase, gumawa ng project, mga gano'n po. Yun po.
Oo, I mean like bilang isang 23-year-old Ziv, ano? Tapos first time mo din bang mag pumasok ng isang official na school?
Yes po.
So, kumusta yung experience mo so far?
Masaya po kasi ang dami ko pong natutunan lalo na po sa science tsaka math.
Right. So let's talk about yung mga barriers. For example, a person who is blind, barrier nila kasi syempre hindi nila nakikita yung mga learning materials. A person who is deaf, kasi hindi nila naririnig yung mga learning instructions. A person in a wheelchair, mahirapan silang pumunta sa building kapag hindi wheelchair friendly. Para naman sa inyo, ano yun naman yung mga barriers na experience ninyo that makes education not accessible, not inclusive, and difficult to pursue?
So, sa akin po, ang barriers po ng may disability is yung pagpunta po sa school araw-araw dahil yung pagod po dahil sa sakit po namin, bawal po kaming mapagod and sumasakit din po yung katawan namin na mas maigi na lang po talaga na nasa bahay at naka-online.
Mhm. So yung transportation mismo yung and the travel time, yun yung major barrier na na-encounter mo. What about sa you, Ziv?
Sa akin po, siguro kasi lagi akong sa hospital. So, wala po talagang time para pumunta ng school. So, parang sa SPED at home po, na-experience ko nga po lahat. At yun, masaya po ako.
Mm. So minsan kasi sa traditional na school kapag may ilang absent lang na allowed, no? Tapos kapag tapos na yung allowed absences, dropped out ka na already. So maybe one reasonable accommodation na pwede nating ibigay sa ating mga learners with disability is the number of days that they can go to school, na maging focus tayo sa mga outputs na kanilang maide-deliver versus the number of days na kailangan nilang magpakita sa ating attendance sheet. So kung kayo naman yung bibigyan ng pagkakataon na baguhin or magdagdag ng mga bagong inisyatibo para sa ating education system to make it more inclusive at to make it more accessible, what are some of your suggestions to make our education system na mas maging inclusive at mas maging accessible?
So, para po sa akin, ang maisasuggest ko lang po sa lahat, sa mga guro at gobyerno, bilang isang mag-aaral na may disability, ay huwag po sana kaming pagkaitan ng, ng makapag-aral na tulad po namin. Para hindi rin po kami mapag-iwanan at para may alam din po kami. At marami pang oportunidad na pumasok sa amin. Para po sa aming health condition, na hindi naman po namin ito ginusto. So, may sasuggest ko lang magkaroon po talaga ng fed at home sa lahat ng paaralan.
Yan, thank you, Ian. Ziv, ano naman yung suggestions mo?
Suggestions ko po, sana mapansin po ng gobyerno at mga guro na kaming mga may disability ay ah, mapansin nila para makapag-aral din po kami dahil ah, mahirap po para sa amin na pumunta po sa school lalo na po mabilis po kaming mahawaan ng sakit at nakaka nakakapanghina po sa amin 'yun kasi gusto man namin mangyari ng gano'n pero dahil nga po sa sakit namin parang isang barrier din po 'yun para sa'min. 'Yun lamang po.
Maraming salamat, sis. Teacher Elsie bilang isang guro, and your experience working with students with disability, how do you think can we make our education system more inclusive and more accessible?
Actually, the accessibility is not just limited to yung mga ramps, no? People are into that lang with that mindset. Actually, hindi lang one kind lang yan ng disability and there are a lot more. So what I can suggest is that we maximize technology. We maximize technology into delivering our education, into teaching and putting in learning into this platform because it's very important. And let us also consider and put in mind that there are students who have specific needs. So that is what I would want to share and I would want to, to ask the government and organizations to put in mind learners with specific needs, with special needs, and those who need assistance in their learning, and not just the ramps. Though we need them, but we can add more to that though.
Maraming salamat, Teacher Elsie, Ziv, Ian, for sharing your experiences and amplifying the voices of learners with disability. Some of the things that I want to highlight from our conversation is kung ang mag-aaral, they cannot even get themselves into schools, they already lost half of the battle. So we really need to innovate, to transform the way we deliver accessible and inclusive education. And hopefully, with the use of technology, it will be much easier for us. Disability is a reality that affects us all. Some of us might be born with it. Some acquired it through accident or a chronic illness at a later point in their life. But one thing is certain, disability affects us all. So this is an issue that involves you and me. And I invite you to be part of that solution. We live in an age where technology becomes an equalizer for everybody. Let's just use this power to make our education system more accessible and inclusive, especially for our learners with disability, especially for learners with disability in rural areas. Thank you so much, Microsoft Philippines and Department of Education, for inviting me and Team Virtualahan in this conversation. I hope that through this Inclusion and Accessibility Week, we can create more possibilities for more learners with disabilities and build the future of education that leaves no one behind.
Okay, so that is such a very informative and inspiring session. Now we better understand the goal of Virtualahan as well as the context, realities, and challenges of learners with disabilities in education. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us, Mr. Ryan Hersaba, Miss Doreen Elsie Jane Hersaba, Steve, and Ian. Now, a few reminders before we continue our program. To our teachers and learners, you can install and activate your Office 365 account by following these steps. Kindly talk to your school admin on how you can get your Microsoft account. And once you have your account, kindly log in to office.com. Remember to change your temporary password and confirm it. For added security, kindly register your mobile number or email address. You also have the option to add some security questions. Once done, kindly confirm your setting and you can now freely use and explore your free Microsoft. Let's all watch this video.
Pumunta sa office.com at mag-log in gamit ang Microsoft account na binigay sa atin ng DepEd. I-type natin ang ating email and then ang temporary password. Sa mga first-time logins, kailangan natin palitan ng ating temporary password. So makikita natin itong dialog box na ito. So make sure na palitan natin ito to our original and a more secure password. Once done, kailangan natin i-secure ang ating account. Now, normally, hihingan tayo ng phone authentication, ng email, or maglalagay tayo ng security questions. Kailangan natin i-fulfill ang isa sa mga ito. For this example, try natin i-authenticate ang phone para mag-secure ang ating account. So, piliin natin yung country, which in this case, the Philippines, and i-type natin ang ating registered mobile number. Dito sa registered mobile number, pwedeng i-text sa atin or itawag sa atin ang verification code. Kapag natanggap natin ang verification code, itatype natin sa field sa ibaba. And there you go. Now, meron tayong access sa portal. Now, dito sa portal, makikita natin lahat ng benefits and lahat ng apps na pwede nating i-download. We can click on Install Office para mag-download lahat ng ito. And magamit na natin sila.
So hopefully, with the instructions provided in the video, you can activate your Microsoft Office 365 account. Now, accessible resources, links, and related online trainings from DepEd and Microsoft Philippines. For you to be able to have this, kindly refer to the links that are now being flashed on your screens. We have links for the following. First, we have link for resources and accessibility for remote learning. And here is the link, aka.ms/special-ed-resources. We also have a link for accessibility guide for educators and parents. The link is aka.ms/educator-guide-accessibility. And also, we have a link for accessibility guide for vision, hearing, mobility, speech, and learning. And here is the link, aka.ms/msft accessibility guide. For other related trainings from Microsoft and DepEd, please go to this link, aka.ms/access fundamentals training. Okay. Now, who wants to win some prizes? Okay, so now we are going to play a short game, and this game is called Mentimeter. Mentimeter is a quick trivia game, and all you have to do is to select the correct answer based on the flashed question. To join, you're going to need your mobile phones or tablets or laptop or computer, and you have to go to this link menti.com and enter the code 78694750. Again, the code is 78694750. So we encourage your participation to join our Mentimeter game. So in joining, we would like to request you to kindly type in your full name once you register to the game for us to count your participation. The questions that will be flashed on your screen are based on the sessions that we had previously, okay? That we watched a while back, okay? So kindly go now to our menti.com and please type the code 78694750. And while you do that, please do stay with us because we have a few announcements later on. We will also be flashing an evaluation form link for you to answer. We would love to hear your thoughts regarding your experience in this event and know what our next steps should be to make these kinds of events more memorable. Okay? Okay, so keep joining our Mentimeter. Okay, so far we have 22 participants registered already. We are going to wait for all of you to join our Mentimeter. So please participate. We have now 44 participants joining us in Mentimeter. Okay, please join our dear participants. We would also like to request our live viewers to join our Mentimeter game and see whether you have really listened to the sessions that we watched a while ago. Okay, so keep your registration coming in our Mentimeter. Okay, now we have already 70 registered participants. Again, we would like to request you to type in your full name as you register to this game for us to count your participation. Okay, so we already have 90 plus registered participants. There will be a prize for our winners, so please take this game seriously. Okay, so 90 plus registered participants already. Again, the code is 78694750. Just go to menti.com and then enter the code or type the code, no? Okay. Don't forget to encode your full name so that you will be properly recognized. If ever that you will be awarded or be recognized as the winner later, no? That will be needed. Your full name is needed for us to count your participation. Okay, so we already have 115 registered participants, 120 registered participants. So we can now start our Mentimeter game. So for this game, for this first round, we have prepared 3 questions for you. So here is the first question. What is the unifying ingredient to materialize the concepts of equity and justice in the diversity and inclusion agenda? What is your answer? Here are the options: access or accessibility, resources, support groups, or lesson. Okay, so what is the correct answer? Okay, so we have 66 participants who answered access and accessibility, 5 resources, 3 support groups, and 1 lesson. Okay, so the one with the check mark is the correct answer. So that is okay, question 2 of 3. Okay, so for question 1, the correct answer is access. For question number 2 of 3, here is the question. Which of the following laws requires that no learners shall be denied admission based on their disability? Is it Republic Act 7277, Republic Act 11650, Republic Act 10533, or Republic Act 9155? What is your answer? Okay, so the correct answer is Republic Act 11650, which was recently signed by President Duterte. Okay, so 24 registered participants got it correct. Okay, moving on to our last question for this round 1. Question number 3. According to Mr. Ryan Hersaba, one of the root causes of unemployment of persons with disability is, what do you think is the answer? Okay, so are you done answering? So the correct answer is inaccessible education. So that's the correct answer. Okay, so let's now look at our leaderboard. Let's see who is our top 1. So our top 1 is Miss Jenny Serrano. Top 2, Janice Gonzalez. Top 3 is, okay. Okay, so our top 1 is Miss Jenny Serrano. Okay, 2,639 points. So congratulations, Ma'am Jenny Serrano. We will message you for the delivery of your prizes. Okay? All right, so congratulations to our winners. Do note that the one that is flashed in our screen is our participant who answered the fastest, but we will consider 2 other participants, top 2 and 3, who excelled in this game also, as we have a total of 3 winners for this round. Kindly wait for the message of our team regarding the delivery of your prizes. All right, so I hope you enjoyed. Okay, so all right, I hope you enjoyed our online interactive activity prepared for you. Watch out for our upcoming online interactive activities in the coming days. To those who didn't win, we still have another round later on. That is our round 2. Now, to ensure continuous support to DepEd's call on inclusive and accessible education, one of the key strategies is to strengthen partnership with external stakeholders. Gladly, with the help of Microsoft, this event was put into place. With that, allow me to introduce our next speaker. As Microsoft Philippines Education Programs lead, Clarissa drives the strategic growth and expansion of education transformation across the country through programs that support student skilling and employability, educator capacity building, and digital transformation in academic institutions. Today, she's joining us to share more about this partnership and commitment to accessibility. I won't let you wait any longer. Let us now welcome our resource speaker for this announcement of partnership and commitment to accessibility, no other than Miss Clarissa Segismundo, Education Programs Lead of Microsoft Philippines. Good morning, Miss Clarissa.
Good morning. Thank you, Dan, for that introduction. And good morning, Miss Christine. Good morning and assalamualaikum sa ating mga teachers, learners, school leaders, and parents who are tuned in today at sa lahat ng ating mga viewers. I am honored to be here. My name again is Clarissa, but my nickname is Isang. You can call me Isang if you like. I have black chin-length hair. Medyo singkit po ang aking mga mata at ako ay nakasalamin. And I am wearing a black shirt at katamtaman ng aking kulay. So let me share my slide. Let me just pull it up first. Habang iniintay natin ang aking slide, congratulations sa ating winner ng Mentimeter game. At mamaya, meron pa tayong sumusunod na question. So, abangan natin to see who will be our next winners. I think then kukuha tayo ng 3 winners, correct?
Yes, you're correct, Miss Clarissa. But we will have 2 questions, no? And that 2 questions are relevant to your session.
Yes. Okay. So here's my slide. All right. So let me proceed now. I want to share with our viewers today, lalo-lalo na sa ating mga teachers and parents who are facilitators of learning, that our commitment to this partnership is beyond the usage of our products and solutions. Together with the Department of Education, yung private academic sector, and our industry partners, we continue to create and innovate education solutions and programs to level the playing field for learners of all abilities. So dito makikita natin with the availability of immersive reader and accessibility features built into Windows and Office 365, students with low vision can use the immersive reader as an easy way to make text accessible. When it comes to font size, color, and contrast, it can easily be adjusted according to the student's needs. Immersive reader can also read text aloud, break it into syllables, and increase spacing between lines for those who suffer from visual crowding. Meron din tayong available na built-in screen reader with narrator in Windows, and you can independently digitize materials through Office Lens. Lahat ng to are built-in and are available in Office 365 for our teachers and learners. Now, what about for those students who are hard of hearing, have hearing loss, or have deafness? You can personalize your own device with the Ease of Access Center, use subtitles, and add real-time captions in Teams and PowerPoint. The many built-in tools such as dictation and Windows Hello Sign-In make remote learning more accessible for students naman who live with dyslexia, seizures, autism, or other cognitive differences. Changing their environment can be a struggle for many learners. Alam natin yan. Lalong-lalo na dun sa mga estudyante natin who need to focus and put their full attention on a computer or in the classroom. For learners with challenges in neurodiversity, there are tools such as Immersive Reader, Focus Assist, Focus Mode, Flipgrid, Digital Inking, Sway, PowerPoint Recorder to help you complete work through alternate means or to help you minimize distraction. Ngayon, last November, we launched Reading Progress. It is an AI-powered tool built within Microsoft Teams that can help both teachers and parents in tracking the learner's fluency. So ano ba yung learner's fluency, 'di ba? Ito yung tinitingnan natin how accurate, 'di ba, yung pagbasa ng student sa text, We are looking at mispronounced words. We are looking at their speed in terms of reading, right? And there are insights in this app that provide teachers a view of trends and data, which include, like I said, accuracy rate, correct words per minute, most challenging vocabulary, mispronunciations, omitted words, and inserted words. So reading progress doesn't only cater to K to 12 and adult literacy, but it is also used in special education to support students who may struggle in learning difficulties, including dyslexia and dysgraphia. Ito na. Yung next naman na ipakikita ko is something that our students and teachers actually look forward to because hit na hit siya lalo na sa ating mga young learners. Minecraft Education Edition. If we have Minecraft users here, let me know. You can share in the chat box how you're using Minecraft Education Edition. But for the benefit of those who haven't used Minecraft Education Edition yet, it is a game-based learning tool that is now widely used by our teachers to facilitate learning in almost all subjects. Minecraft Education Edition, alam naman natin, as part of game-based learning, helps improve a child's memory capacity, practical thinking, computer and simulation fluency, and collaboration, communication, and problem-solving skills. And all of that ginagamit natin because of the game-based learning approach. Now, we also know that today, in the age of virtual play and digital economy, we have the responsibility to prepare our learners as they explore and make decisions and make choices. So, teachers, again, FYI, the programs you have built around Minecraft Education Edition include special lessons and immersive worlds that support social and emotional learning. Teachers now have access to Minecraft lessons, take note, with concepts that include emotional well-being, empathy, inclusion, self-regulation, and making responsible decisions. All of these content, were created to help prepare our young learners, for the future world of work, especially when there's really an emphasis on social emotional skills. Again, all the tools and applications that I just mentioned, Immersive Reader, Microsoft Assistive Technologies, Reading Progress, Minecraft Education Edition, Sway, Microsoft Dictate, and all the other technologies that come with it are available to all our 23 million learners and 950,000 teaching and non-teaching staff of DepEd. They're free, they're part of your annual subscription, and I highly encourage everyone, kung wala pa po kayong account ng Office 365, pinakita kanina ni Den yung details on how to claim it and the step-by-step process on how you can activate your account. Please do so and take advantage of this benefit provided to you by the Department of Education. We are committed to supporting DepEd through continuous innovation, teacher capacity building, and student skilling. And they are all aligned to DepEd's mission of providing quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating basic education for all. In collaboration with DepEd Curriculum and Instruction Office, under the Bureau of Learning Delivery and Student Inclusion Division, and in collaboration with the Office of the Undersecretary for Administration, ICTS EdTech Unit Office under the leadership of USEC Alain Del Pascua, and the Youth Formation Division under the leadership of Chief Adolf Aguilar, and of course, the CI Office, which is under the leadership of USEC Dad San Antonio. We continue to provide up-to-date training content para sa ating mga teachers, leaders, non-teaching staff, and students. For example, our Microsoft Education ambassadors are continuously trained on Microsoft accessible technologies at lahat ng mga tools and programs that I showed earlier, and they're used for teaching and learning. To date, we have trained more than 2,500 Microsoft Education ambassadors with presence all over the country, who in turn have been empowering more than 500,000 Filipino teachers nationwide. With the recent Republic Act 11650 signed by President Duterte last March 11, which institutes a policy of inclusion and services for learners with disabilities. Ang commitment po namin sa Microsoft is to continuously support DepEd in the provision of the necessary tools, trainings, programs, and relevant competencies and skills to level the playing field for learners of all abilities. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And I'm sure you've been hearing about this every time you hear an opening or a closing message or any presentation from Microsoft folks. First, it's easy for large organizations to forget about people. And that's why the word every is so important. And it also aligns perfectly with accessibility. Second, I appreciate our focus on achieving more because although we've come a long way with accessibility, we have much further to go. Each year since we introduced this mission, I've seen continued focus on building solutions for real people. It's also a mindset of thinking outside of what works for you and what might work for people you may not think about often. We embrace disability to build a culture of inclusion and promote accessibility. We can make a more inclusive and accessible learning environment. It's not easy, but it's not impossible either. Together, we can do this with you, one classroom at a time. So I'd love to connect with you. You may email me at clarissa.segismundo@microsoft.com. I look forward to learning from all of you and I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you very much for your time. Shukran and good morning.
Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Clarissa, for delivering your partnership and commitment to accessibility with DepEd through innovative and assistive Microsoft tools and applications. We appreciate your time, efforts, and resources extended for ensuring the attainment of this event's goal. Again, just a refresh of our reminders. To our teachers and learners, you can install and activate your Microsoft Office 365 account by following these steps. Kindly talk to your school admin or division ICT coordinator on how you can get your Microsoft account. And once you have your account, kindly log in to office.com. Remember to change your temporary password and confirm it. For added security, kindly register your mobile number or email address. You also have the option to add some security questions. Once done, kindly confirm your settings so you can use and explore your free Microsoft 365 account. For a more detailed explanation, let us all watch this video.
Pumunta sa office.com at mag-login gamit ang Microsoft account na binigay sa atin ng DepEd. I-type natin ang ating email, and then ang temporary password. Sa mga first-time logins, kailangan natin palitan ng ating temporary password. So makikita natin itong dialog box na ito. So make sure na palitan natin ito to our original and a more secure password. Once done, kailangan natin i-secure ang ating account. Now, normally, hihingan tayo ng phone authentication, ng email, or maglalagay tayo ng security questions. Kailangan natin i-fulfill ang isa sa mga ito. For this example, try natin i-authenticate ang phone para mag-secure ang ating account. So, piliin natin yung country, which in this case, the Philippines, and i-type natin ang ating registered mobile number. Dito sa registered mobile number, pwedeng i-text sa atin or itawag sa atin ang verification code. Kapag natanggap natin ang verification code, ita-type natin sa field sa ibaba. And there you go. Now, meron tayong access sa portal. Now, dito sa portal, makikita natin lahat ng benefits and lahat ng apps na pwede nating i-download. We can click on Install Office para mag-download lahat ng ito and magamit na natin sila.
Okay. Now for accessibility resources, links and related online trainings from DepEd and Microsoft Philippines, kindly refer to the links that are being flashed on your screens. We have links for the following. First, resources and accessibility for remote learning. So here is the link, aka.ms/special ed resources. Second, we have accessibility guide for educators and parents, and here is the link, aka.ms/educator guide accessibility. Third, accessibility guide for vision, hearing, mobility, speech, and learning, and here is the link, aka.ms/msft accessibility guide. And lastly, we have other related trainings from Microsoft and DepEd, and the link is aka.ms/access fundamentals training. Okay, so hopefully you can access all these accessibility resources. Now, who wants to win some prizes again? This time, we are going to play a short game again, and this is Mentimeter that we played previously. We know that this is a quick trivia game. All you need to do is to select the correct answer based on the flashed question. To join our Mentimeter game round 2, you're going to need your mobile phones, tablets, or laptop or computer. Please go to menti.com and enter the code 32379882. Again, go to menti.com and enter the code 32379882. Kindly type in your full name once you register to the game for us to count your participation. Again, using your mobile phone, laptop, computer, or tablet, please go to menti.com and enter the code 32379882. Please don't forget to type in or encode your full name once you register to the game. Okay? So we will wait for your participation in this game. We are now waiting for our players. Please join now to our round 2 of our Mentimeter game. Okay, so while you do that, please do stay with us because we have few announcements later on, and we will also be flashing an evaluation form link for you to accomplish, for you to answer. We would love to hear your thoughts regarding your experience in this event and know what our next steps should be to make this kind of events more memorable. Okay, so at this point, we already have 60 registered participants. We are still going to wait for other participants to register to this game. We already have 110 registered players. Okay, what about the rest? We are waiting for your registration. This is a very exciting game, no? Please bear in mind that the questions that will be flashed on your screen, which you will answer, are based on the session or the message provided to us by Miss Clarissa Segismundo a while back. Okay, so this is where we will determine if you have listened attentively to the message by Miss Clarissa. Okay, so we already have 160 players. So we will start now our Mentimeter round 2. Okay, so are you ready? Here's the first question. What is the name of the free Microsoft Learning tool that can read text aloud, break it into syllables, and increase spacing between lines? Your options are Microsoft Teams, Immersive Reader, or Minecraft Education Edition. What is your answer? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the correct answer is immersive reader. And most of you, I think, no, most of you have answered the correct answer, which is immersive reader, 77 registered participants. Okay, so congratulations to those who answered it correctly. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so answer fast to get more points. So pabilisan po ito, no? Kahit na tamang sagot mo, dapat mabilis. Okay, what tools are available to all DepEd teachers and learners for use in teaching and learning? So here is our second question. What tools are available to all DepEd teachers and learners for use in teaching and learning? Is it Office 365, Minecraft Education Edition, Reading Progress, Immersive Reader, or all of the above? So what is your answer? Please choose the best answer for this question. Okay, so the correct answer is all of the above. All of these tools or applications are available to all DepEd teachers and learners for use in teaching and learning through Microsoft Philippines. Okay, so 656 rather, got it correct, no? So congratulations to our winners. Who are our winners? Let's see. Okay, so top 1 is Miss Shena May Ramirez. Top 2, Ma'am Dina Don Mondin. And top 3, Sir Zen Roland Maygay Momo. Okay, so once again, our winner is Ma'am Shena May Ramirez. So congratulations to Ma'am Shena May Ramirez. Okay, so once again, congratulations to our winners. Please take note that the one that is flashed is our participant who answered the fastest. Okay, and that is Ma'am Shena May Ramirez. But we will consider another players who excelled in this game as we have a total of 2 winners for this round. So top 1 and top 2. To all our Mentimeter winners, kindly message DepEd Facebook page with the screenshot of your name input during the Mentimeter game. Kindly wait for the message of our team regarding the delivery of your prizes. So once again, congratulations for joining our Mentimeter game. Okay, so this wraps up our episode for today. Thank you so much for the special participation of USEC Diosdado M. San Antonio, Bureau of Learning Director, Director 4 Laila P. Ariola, Bureau of Learning Director, Director 3 Lito A. Palomar, Student Inclusion Division Chief Jose D. Togonayo Jr., our partner, Microsoft Philippines, Virtualahan, Line Learning and Development Solutions, our resource persons, and to all DepEd officials and staff from central and field offices, instructional leaders, school heads, teachers, learners, parents, guardians, and learning facilitators and other stakeholders. Again, Thank you all for joining us in this significant event. But before we sign off, here are some reminders. Stay tuned for our other episodes for day 2 to 5, and that will be Tuesday until Friday this week from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Again, we would like to invite you to join us virtually again tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. via Microsoft Teams and DepEd Philippines Facebook page live stream for another episode of celebration of DepEd's Inclusion and Accessibility Week. And again, to our teachers and learners, you can install and activate your O365 or Office 365 account by following these steps. Please do not forget, kindly talk to your school admin or division ICT coordinator on how you can get your Microsoft account. Once you have your Microsoft account, kindly log in to office.com. Remember to change your temporary password and confirm it. For added security, kindly register your mobile number or email address. You also have the option to add some security questions. Once you are done, kindly confirm your settings so you can use and explore your free Microsoft 365 account. For a more detailed explanation, let us all watch this video again.
Pumunta sa office.com at mag-login gamit ang Microsoft account na binigay sa atin ng DepEd. I-type natin ang ating email and then ang temporary password. Sa mga first-time logins, kailangan natin palitan ang ating temporary password. So makikita natin itong dialog box na ito. So make sure na palitan natin ito to our original and a more secure password. Once done, kailangan natin i-secure ang ating account. Now, normally, hihingan tayo ng phone authentication, ng email, or maglalagay tayo ng security questions. Kailangan natin i-fulfill ang isa sa mga ito. For this example, try natin i-authenticate ang phone para mag-secure ang ating account. So, piliin natin yung country, which in this case, the Philippines, and i-type natin ang ating registered mobile number. Dito sa registered mobile number, pwedeng i-text sa atin or itawag sa atin ang verification code. Kapag natanggap natin ang verification code, ita-type natin sa field sa ibaba. And there you go. Now, meron tayong access sa portal. Now, dito sa portal, makikita natin lahat ng benefits and lahat ng apps na pwede nating i-download. We can click on Install Office para ma-download lahat ng ito and magamit na natin sila.
Okay, so for accessible resources, links, and related online trainings from DepEd and Microsoft Philippines, kindly refer again to the links that are being flashed on your screens. So we have links for the following. First, resources and accessibility for remote learning. Here is the link, aka.ms/special ed resources. Second, we have also a link for accessibility guide for educators and parents. The link is aka.ms/educator guide accessibility. We also have accessibility guide for vision, hearing, mobility, speech, and learning. And the link is aka.ms/msft accessibility guide. And lastly, we also have other related trainings from Microsoft and DepEd. And for you to be able to access that, please go to the link aka.ms/access fundamentals training. So we hope that our teachers and learners can access their free Microsoft 365 account through the instructions provided a while back and access the accessible resources link provided a while back also through the links. Okay, And also, we would like to request our live viewers, our participants, to please accomplish our evaluation form through this link. Our link is tinyurl.com/2022 inclusion access week and eval. Again, please do not forget to use our official hashtag. Our official hashtag is hashtag DepEd Inclusion and Accessibility when you post your photos relevant to this event on your social media account. Again, our official hashtag is hashtag DepEd Inclusion and Accessibility. On behalf of the Department of Education, once again, thank you so much for generously sharing your time and enthusiasm. It is our earnest desire to always support our learners, our educators, our parents, and learning facilitators, especially during this challenging time. Let us all work together to make our vision into a reality, and that is to make education inclusive and accessible for all basic education learners, most especially for those in special circumstances. A blessed morning to everyone. See you again online tomorrow at 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. only here in DepEd Philippines Facebook page for another episode of celebration of DepEd's Inclusion and Accessibility Week. Good morning to everyone. See you again tomorrow.